author, activist, and so-called conspiracy theorist, Mr. Dick Gregory, and it's an honor that you have allowed us to conduct this interview with you today. And you're here in Dayton, Ohio. You're going to be speaking at a black-owned restaurant, The Taste in Trotwood, which is beautiful. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you in this short period of time is about the $1 trillion income or purchasing power black people are about to come into, they say, in 2015. At the same time, we have this purchasing power of $1 trillion. Maggie Anderson was here, and she put her family through the experiment where they shop from only black businesses. So this $1 trillion purchasing power is not really translating into power in the black community. Can you say something to that?
See, one of the things that we look at, we want to compete like white folks do. And you can't. You know, I just been doing a commercial, man. Kevin Durant wanted me. They flew me out to Austin, Texas.
Right.
They had 150 people just on me. And we shot for 4 hours to get 30 seconds.
Right. I've seen that.
What we got to do is get out of our head. That's how Elijah Muhammad made it. He didn't try to pattern himself at the Catholic Church or the Baptist Church. Right. He knew he was dealing back then with drug addicts, alcohol, and trifling black folks that a system had corrupted. So he said, go on a new program. First, you know how many black folks would take their children to Disneyland to see a rat, but have never carried their children to King's grave or his tomb, and had he not died, okay, they wouldn't be welcome there. So what we got to do is get out of our head. Now I'm with billionaire white boy. They make a phone call and this happens. You know, this is why you hear people talk about white colleges. 30% of their operating expenses come from the alumni. Black college, 3%. Well, let's back up. My brothers, one, went to Notre Dame. When he graduates, he's in the alumni club. He's driving through Mississippi tonight and get pulled over, drunken driving. He calls the Notre Dame alumni, and they said, "Look, we'll be in Clare Albany or such and such. How many tickets? It's a service. Ain't no loyalty, nothing. So African Americans can't do that. Okay?
Right.
So here's what you do. You get 10, 15 black colleges together. And you go and you borrow $10 million. Huh? And buy $10 million worth of tires. Huh?
Right.
Now when you get $10 million worth of tires, the tires don't cost much, about $5 a piece. Now you have a service for black folks that belongs to the alumni. A brand new tire will cost you less, okay, than getting a used tire. Then you do the research. How many black folks have automobile accidents because of the tires? Then you have a service where they can come and get their thing checked. Then you branch off and you go into Mother's Day, flowers, Father's Day gifts. That's a built-in.
Right.
Another thing, we got to stop calling ourselves a community. That's a lie. A community is where you control the cops, you control the banking, the finance, the schools. We're in a community. We live in a neighborhood. And what is a hood? Something you put over your face when you're trying to hide something. My mother did not come to my graduation. That was the biggest thing because of track. She didn't come because she didn't feel like her clothes was up to the standards. She wouldn't embarrass me. So we need to throw these white folks out of our mind. First, all the white folks work for me. I tell them, you cannot think for me because being born white, you're born with 300 years of white privilege. He said, not me. Light complected Negroes have a white privilege. Now let me get back to Elijah Muhammad Farrakhan. They in the community. We don't see them smoke, drink, cussing folks. Huh? Right. Let me tell you why I'm saying this. The way this government hates them, if they was doing it, they'd have pictures to show the world. Okay? And so until we get out of that mold, and I don't know if we can. My mother, the second week of January, she took on extra jobs so she could buy me and my brothers and sisters Christmas. And then told me a white man brought it. So y'all want to jump out here and talk all this craziness like this other stuff didn't happen. If you broke your knee, and you've been used to running with your son, you got to change until this heals.
Right.
Now, how do you heal it? First, you got to know, for instance, racism and prejudice. It's not about that. It's about white supremacy. Most white folk don't know what that is.
Right.
Huh? White supremacy, this planet is 3% white.
Right.
And 97% non-white. The 97% is controlled by the free. That's through white supremacy. And then again, I'm stupid enough to believe the most powerful nation in the world, some of the most powerful, rich, white businessmen in the world, that the Tea Party can shut this country down unless they wanted them to.
Right.
We go fight mighty nations and win. Okay?
Yeah.
Here's another thing. I got 10 children. Where children at?
I got 2.
So if you left your wife, they would tell you your children would suffer because there ain't no man at home.
Right.
They tell me my 10 would suffer. But if the United States government bring you to the Army, to the Marine, and you get killed, they don't factor that in. They act like because you died for us, nothing will happen for your children. This is what I'm saying.
Right.
And so until we, hear people say, you want to hide something from a black person, hide it what? Under a book.
Right.
What they don't know, when the research is there, black folks in the last 80 years spend a bigger percentage of their salary on books than white folks do. Another thing you hear, black male high school dropout, 50%. Then the question is, how come they're not laying off teachers? How come the budget ain't been cut?
Right.
Black male high school dropout rate is 11%. So we pick up all them lies because in our subconscious mind, we want to be like them. So here, I've been taught in my subconscious that a black woman is ugly. She's been taught that a black woman. Now they say no. How many drug addicts in denial? Huh?
Yeah.
How many people get hooked to prescription pills for a sickness? Huh? And so, few black men you'll hear say, my woman is beautiful. They say she's strong. But see, his pickup truck is beautiful.
Right.
A black woman in America is the only woman on the planet that go to a place called a beauty parlor. Everybody else call it a hair salon. How you gonna get rid of it when you don't know it's there?
Right. Becoming conscious. So
the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. I grew up hearing that. That's a black man talking about a black woman and trying to justify it.
Right.
Huh?
So on the flip side, really, of that white supremacy, you do have a black inferiority that gives that white supremacy its ability to have a breath to
Well, the reason for that is we're the only group of people in the history of this planet that opted for education.
Right.
Education over a freedom. We took education over liberation. When George Washington beat up them on no good British, he wasn't fighting them for the right to open up a college. He's fighting. That's like I take your son out and buy him nice socks and no shoes.
Right.
Buy him a good suit but no coat. Huh? And so that part of it And we got an example of Elijah Muhammad.
Right.
What he's able to do, you know, moving, drink, smoke, do drugs, and they right there in the community.
Right.
And yet we don't bring them into our church, into our thing, and pay them to come and teach our youngsters how they did.
Right. Right.
And so somewhere until we stop comparing ourselves with white. White boy take a gun and shoot up everybody, and before they know his name, they tell me he has mental conditions.
All the time.
So we live in a white racist system.
Right.
And you get rid of it, but at the same time, if you left your house this morning, you and your sons, ain't nothing between there and where you're going that a black person can shut down. White folks can take the stop sign down from the house, they can condemn your house, and we walking through this like a bunch of fools.
Now you talk about house. Can you talk about your understanding of what's going on in Detroit with them just cutting off the water to the residents there, and that whole Detroit situation?
White
because
folks they kill black folks, man. Huh? If we elected, I tell you what they better not do. Nowhere in America, they better not mess with a black man's car. Right. Now, as long as you've been in this business, when is the last time you heard a brother say, a white racist cop took his life stick and hit my car? But you can shoot my mother in the back of the head, you can shoot my son, plant a gun on, don't mess with my car. And we're not even dealing with that.
Right.
There's a thing came out called the Willie Lynch letter. That would come out the CIA headquarters. White folks didn't talk that way 300 years ago. Huh?
Right.
That came, now one brother in Oakland, California, the university, PhD, ran him down and interviewed. He admitted he's the one who wrote the letter for the CIA. Huh?
Right.
And so when you walk through a maze, when my mother go out and spend her hard working time so I can have a good picture of my brother, and they tell me a white man brought it to me?
Yeah.
Oh, mother.
Right.
Tell me a white man brought me that stuff.
After all that hard work.
Not only that, can you imagine a Jew buying gifts for their children saying the Nazis and Germans gave it to us? And then the other thing, when you stop and think, I sent my children to all black colleges. So a white friend of mine, one day said, well, your children are so bright, they get scholarships to anywhere in the world. Why did they go to black college? I said, none of your business. And then one day he said, well, why don't you tell me? I said, I'm going to Europe for 2 weeks. I'm going to give you an assignment and you'll find out. You right now, 100 world-renowned African Americans. When I come back, we'll discuss grand and see. 100 world-renowned African Americans. You can't trick on that.
Right. Right.
Well, don't pop your whatever that popping down on the show. You okay? 98% of world-renowned African Americans came out of black colleges.
Right.
But we can't get that out of our mind. I look at the Supreme Court. The only good thing came out this year was they clipped the way I vote right now. I'm saying that's not good. But it throws a different light. See, we like to blame everything on some ignorant, can't read, can't write, hillbilly white folks.
Right.
These are the most powerful men in the world. So I feel the same way about you as them cousins of mine feel about you. You don't see this.
Right.
The last case before they cease this year's deputy is the case in Michigan, where Michigan went up and said, do black folks have a right to use race to get in college? They said no. Then what do? Nothing. All we have to do is say, hey, we will boycott sending all black children to any school in Michigan. They reversed that in an overnight. Right. But we keep looking at some, I got better barbecue sauce than you. Huh? And so if it wasn't for Johnny Johnson, thank God he didn't try to emulate Time magazine. Because let me tell you what, on the air, you see a whole lot of negative stuff. Black folk getting robbed.
Right.
Black folks on death row.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Johnson didn't show that. He showed your son in one of the top private schools in the world. Mm-hmm. I got some daughters. They were I wouldn't know what they're doing. I got one daughter that's bureau chief for all sex crimes and murders in New York City. Mm-hmm. That ain't in the New York Times.
Right.
I got a son that was financial analyst for the city of New York.
Mm-hmm.
He can't tell them folks how to spend $34 billion. They couldn't touch it till he analyzed it.
Right. Right.
My oldest brother got 2 PhDs from the London School of Economics in sex harassment at the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
All they want to show you is filthy stuff.
Yeah. And you talk about the media, and just recently they gave reparations to the sterilized women, some of the sterilized women in North Carolina.
Yeah, the black women got some of that too.
But we hear nothing about it.
Now,
in the
when
media.
that, we didn't know they were sterilizing more white folks than black folks. Because white ain't a color, it's an attitude. And if you ain't got trillions of dollars in the bank, you can't have the attitude.
That's right.
And so that's the game. And so consequently, when you stop and think about, well, black folk need to get in business. Oh, big companies going out of business now. You telling me to get in?
Right.
Little Black Wall Street. Back in the 20s.
Yeah.
Negroes, Jews, Chinese, and Native Americans. And the brother that put it together was doing $100,000 profit for himself a week. Then the white boys moved and said, we'd like to be part of it. They said, you can't. You can't. So then the planes came out.
That's right.
And bundled. So why we want to sit around and talk about, without factoring that, let's say you and your son open up one of the finest nightclubs in this city. And all at once, as the reputation expands and people come in from everywhere, they'll send some thug brothers who's in jail.
Right.
Let them out for a weekend, give them some sex and some drugs. They'll come in your place and have a shootout. So what does my grandmother think? Taking my grandchildren somewhere. This is how they do it.
Right.
And we so naive. If you go to traffic court on Monday, 90% of the people there are black.
Yeah.
Oh, we do it that much more speeding than white people, but we tolerate it.
Exactly. Right.
When is the last time you turned on TV or the news or the paper and saw a white family cry? Or them white, black police shot my son in the back here 40 times.
Right.
You think we don't do that because we're more spiritual, we're better trained? We know white folks ain't going to talk. Huh?
Now, the conspiracy, and so many questions, but the assassination, I'll say assassination of Michael Jackson, of Johnny Cochran. Many people don't know it, but as you were saying on one video, because of the catalog and because of Michael Jackson's power and influence, and from what Dr. Umar Johnson was saying with Johnny Cochran, was because of his pursuing of reparations that they had. Yes.
O.J. Simpson. We're going to get reparations in 60 years. All them ignorant white folks that don't believe we deserve it, they'll be dead, and all them black folks that they didn't do nothing. You know who's going to get reparations? The same law firms that got 40% of the cigarette sales. That's where that's coming from.
Right.
Johnny Cochran was killed because of O.J. Simpson. You see, you don't need to do this for the show, but you need to pull up that Nicole Simpson's mother called her the night of the killings. They talked, and then now they dated some news person, not trying to create something. So when's the last time you heard from your daughter? Last night, she said, 11 o'clock. Well, that cake worked because O.J. was on the plane. So she said, well, how'd you know it was 11 o'clock? She said, because my husband and I twice a week eat at this restaurant. That's an hour and a half from the house, and we didn't leave there coming back to 11:30. Now, well, we can prove that by the letter. Social. The call on that second trial for the money.
Right.
The lawyers went into federal court for that part of AT&T's records had been sealed for 80 years by a federal judge.
So is it saying that the timing that O.J. couldn't have done it, or what does that those records reveal?
A lot of us know. Wait, do you know O.J. couldn't read and write? Did you watch that trial?
I did.
Wasn't he writing all the way through the trial? It was common he's doing more writing than the lawyer. So who was that? His mother came down before he was indicted for cold Simpson fever. Took one look at him, had a major heart attack. The whole time he was in jail for 18 months, she never went to visit. That ain't Black mothers. So it's a whole lot to this thing,
right,
that we don't know. And so, and so consequently, Michael Jackson, he bought the Beatles for $48 million. When they killed him, it was worth $1.5 billion. Now, let's go back to that night. He was killed at 2 a.m. in the morning, not 10 o'clock. They get to talking about the marks, and needle marks, and all of that, and how much drug. Lloyd's of London is the most powerful insurance company in the world. If you got the money, they'll guarantee you.
Your toe can be insured.
No, wait, no. Your dog can be insured that he gonna knock up an elephant.
Okay.
But it's so much there,
right?
You couldn't win. So now, let's go back. Lloyd's of London could take your drug-addict cousin for a job and test him or her, and they're trying to drugs. You mean Lloyd's of London got this young man insured for $1.5 billion, and they didn't see the needle marks on his arm?
Right.
Then when you stop and realize what they do. And so they did a new book on John Lennon, had his tape from John Lennon saying, they want to know, how did you come up with the idea of what's the new song sells 1 million copies?
Did he?
No. It's social.
Happy.
It's Imagine.
Okay, Imagine.
So they asked him on the tape before he was killed, how did you get the idea from Dick Gregory? How? He just talked to me, gave me books, carried me to the Black Baptist Church. So now all at once, the publishers that's doing the book called me and said, we need an hour with you. You don't need nothing with me. Did John Lennon tell you that? So I got to validate what John Lennon said. And so consequently, white supremacy is, I dare you to own that. And so here's where they tricked him. They blocked his new record coming out, which was in Tokyo. And so he was borrowing money. Because he knew my record come out, I do $600 million in a week. He didn't know they was blocking. So he's getting it as a loan. Got to put up nothing. The record company's already got his stuff. And so what they did is put moral clauses in. And you have to put up 50% of the Beatles. The moral clauses say you can do nothing and bring discredit. That's what them trials was about. That he kept winning.
Right.
He a pedophile. So that's what it was about.
That's what it was about.
And if you look at after they killed him, in the will, his 3 children's name was spelled wrong. So why couldn't have him do that? And so this is what this is about. But it's hard to explain
Right.
to a group of people who've been dumbed down.
And believe in the information coming from the mainstream media.
You did too, for you made the change.
That's right.
And so again, I'm saying the whole thing got to be overhauled. I mean, my mother, bless her heart, but it goes to y'all's power. She stopped eating pork.
Yeah.
Because how to eat to live. She wouldn't be a moving if they put in a pot of hot water.
Right. Yeah.
But she's listening.
Listening.
Okay?
Right.
And so consequently, it's a whole new ball game out here.
Right.
And until we understand why she's coming.
And it's a global thing, because now if I can get your perspective on this whole thing in Iraq, and the CIA's creation of Al-Qaeda, and how all this is mixed with the cartels in Mexico, and
Well, personally, she is.
and this will be the last question.
One, the conspiracy about hate.
Absolutely right.
And so, when you looked at the pirates, Negro pirates, taking on the mightiest navies in the history of the planet, and they don't have a rowboat. You see that? Why? Because they knew the plane, Malaysia, was where we jumped. And the only place they could land it is in Diego Garcia, which is owned by London, England, but rented by Americans. They do some of the vicious things there in the history of the planet. Now watch this. They couldn't land until they built the runway.
Right.
So, if you stop and think about it, they hijacked one oil tanker at 100 million gallons. Where they learn how to sell that? Okay, now watch this now. So when they saw all those Navy boats out there, I mean battleships,
Right.
they thought they was coming to protect, to come from Parliament. They was coming while they was building that runway over there for that,
A plane.
to land. Nobody would suspect anything because they just thought they was going to go in there tough. This has always been.
Right.
King, we got freedom of information.
Yeah.
The United States Army Intelligence has spied on King for 85 years. Well, King wasn't 85. They spied on Daddy King, his daddy. And they had, when he went to college, they had students sitting in there that wasn't students. They were CIA agents just to watch every move. They know who we are.
Yeah.
Okay? And Holloman was FBI J. Edgar Hoover's right-hand man. He ran the office for Hoover for 30-some years. Only once he resigns, goes to Memphis and becomes police chief and fire chief, just in time for the King trip. We also found out that they use U-2 planes to squad them out. Okay?
Right.
Well, I thought they just used that for Russia.
Right. Right.
So that's what this whole thing
Yeah.
is about.
Yeah.
And how do you change it? When you teach your children ABC, you didn't tell it to them one time.
Right.
Over and over,
Over
and
and
over.
over again.
Huh? My children know I'm daddy.
Right.
Till my wife tell them I'm daddy. And this, I heard one of them saying dada to a blue.
Right.
And then one day it clicked in, and then daddy, it's me.
Yeah. Right.
And so, what I'm saying, this paper, you brothers and sisters, have changed America.
Yeah.
Okay? NBC, CBS, and ABC is about to left this one side.
Right.
Because you got young white children. That ain't good.
Right.
And so again, I just say, let me finish with this.
Yeah.
The number one heroin drugged out state in America is Vermont.
That's right.
99% white folks.
Mm-hmm.
The Justice Department just released some stats that more people, they're talking about white folks, more people die in America from ODing off of heroin than all the automobile fatalities.
Mm-hmm.
All the automobile fatalities.
Right.
And homicide.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe we'll go around and do something. And so again, it's about information.
Mm-hmm. That's
If I
right.
give you bad information,
And that's why when we look at the internet, you know, as you're saying, the dinosaur media is dying out, but they see this threat coming from the internet, and so you have this NSA, Facebook, and all these other social networks, really now facial recognition and all these other things that we hear going on.
Well, anyway, I just thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I want to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're good.
Let me get a. Let me just say I want to thank Mr. Gregory for allowing us this interview, and we want you all to continue to tune in, and may God continue to bless you and your family with the light of truth and understanding. Assalamu alaikum.